So we get EMF, which is electromagnetic field, which is a broad blanket term encompassing all electromagnetic frequencies, or you could say fields, actually. So, but then high frequency, like radio signals, radio frequencies are a subset of EMF, are a subset of all different kinds of electromagnetic frequencies. So the high frequency electromagnetic waves are used in radio transmission communications like Wi-Fi, mobile data, 4G, 5G, Bluetooth, radio, etc. So that range is roughly 30 kilohertz to 300 gigahertz depending on the source. Let me just quickly tell you my experience with this stuff, okay? So I first started to learn about this when I realized that my sleep was being affected every time I left my phone next to my head near the bedside table. And, I'd have the Wi-Fi on, I'd have the mobile data on, so everything was on. And then when I started using airplane mode and turning off the power sockets too in my room, quality of sleep dramatically improved. Now, I'm hypersensitive. I'm very much a dreaming person. My life, half of my life is my dreams. Really, I value my dreams as much as my life in waking life. I know it's crazy, but that's how it is. So for me, my sleep quality and sleeping is a big part of my life. Getting sufficient rest affects everything for me. It just does. Lately I've been getting good rest, so I've been feeling a lot better. When I was waking up, all those years I had been getting really jittery sleep and waking up almost like already feeling like I hadn't slept, or I was like 10% alert the whole time while I was sleeping. It's a very hard phenomenon to describe, but ultimately the best way for me to describe it is like a constant jitter, like a caffeine jitter, and the feeling of being caffeinated like immediately as you're waking up was kind of the feeling, or the caffeine crash, something like that. And I remember on several occasions after I started using airplane mode, my sleep started increasing, but I realized I had forgot to put airplane mode on my phone, which cuts out all the Wi-Fi, the Bluetooth, the 5G, 4G at the time when I started this practice. So I realized over time that this was a significant thing, and it wasn't just some YouTube mumbo jumbo or something I'd seen on social media posts about this EMF. I did it as a precaution. I didn't do it because I was absolutely sure that it would work. I did it because I was doing everything I possibly could to improve my quality of sleep, to lower my cortisol, to get sufficient rest, to try and incorporate the best practices, because nobody uses their phone while they're sleeping, okay? There's emergencies is one thing, but hey man, don't call me because I'm sleeping, all right? So for real, is the emergencies worth a whole lifetime of radio frequencies affecting your sleep, your brain, your chemistry, your ability to rest and recover, and everything else? Even when the phone's near me right now, okay, and the mobile data is on the 5G, and I'm like, I don't want this on. So I'm thinking about a way, because I think the mobile network 3 does Wi-Fi calling. I want to know if that works for receiving calls as well as making them. So that would be interesting. But in that case, when I'm at home, I would just turn off all mobile telecommunications with my network provider and get everything through my Wi-Fi, and turn off the mobile data as well, and maybe even the Bluetooth when I'm not using it. But Bluetooth is a much lower risk. Wi-Fi is a much lower risk because they're only working intermittently as they're being used, and the total exposure is much lower. So it's a lot more on the safe side. But with mobile data, it's very tricky, because if you live in an area where your mobile signal is bad, the phone actually boosts its power output to kind of, phone signal to your mobile provider and 5G and stuff. It turns out, so the mobile data is 5 to 20 times stronger than the baseline of Wi-Fi. So Wi-Fi's there, that much. Okay, mobile data is like that much or like that much. Okay, so just turning off your mobile data, if you've got loads of devices in your house that work off Wi-Fi, alarms, doorbells, security cameras, things like that, I totally get it. I have the same, water leak detectors. It's really important for me to kind of have the benefits of the technology as well. So I make that trade-off. From now on, I'll be leaving my Wi-Fi on so I can get all those alerts and things like that, and maybe even receive Wi-Fi calls, hopefully. And if not, that should be part of the technology going forward. We're buying your technology from all you companies. Give us the optionality to actually have the healthiest version of it, even if we have to pay extra, because I would certainly pay extra for those features. Most people might not care, but for the people who care, you could charge them more and they will pay. I would pay for that. So yeah, I mean, that's really all I've got to say. Is if you are a hypersensitive individual, very intuitive, spiritual individual especially, you could try this and you'll probably be able to notice the difference. For most people though, you might not notice the difference, but I promise you it does have an impact on your life, especially accumulating over years. So if you're a young person, you're early on in life, you want to preserve that sleep quality, lay off the energy drinks, lay off the caffeine, lay off eating at night, lay off the blue light, get the filters, put the filters even in your fridge lights and stuff like that everywhere. Don't get exposed to blue light, get those devices off nice and early, get to bed, read a book and go to sleep. Okay, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you found this helpful and you like this content, and I'll make more videos for you in the future to help you become the healthier, happier, wealthier version of yourself. Goodbye.